So here we are yet again, Spectre and Spectre FedSen for yet another Star Wars X-Wing video battle report, number 4. Kind of a tiebreaker, non-tiebreaker.
It's a rubber match. I won the first match. Spectre won the second match, and this is the third match between us to kind of give one of us the edge on the trash talking. If you've watched the last bat rep,
not that we need an edge,
you know things didn't go so well for me. No asteroids. So that's one of the biggest differences.
Note that there's no asteroids on the field today because specifically Spectre FedSen got to set the field.
I didn't set. There's nothing to set. There's no asteroids. No excuses for either one of us for hitting asteroids. However, I suspect we'll probably be running into each other because that always seems to happen.
Well, bumper cars is one of my favorite techniques. So
a little bit of a different strategy. 100 points again.
100 points, unless you've got more that you haven't told me about.
Nope. I'm attempting to step it up a little bit by bringing in Darth Vader.
He wants to put a black mark on Vader's reputation.
You've run the Falcon, the YT, a couple of times. I've run the big ship a couple of times, but I stayed small. But I do have Vader, so no promises, interwebs.
And I did take 3 named pilots for the Rebels, so so I've got some names on my side too.
Well, my guy's got names too, but one of them just happens to be named Academy Pilot. So I don't know how much that's going to. You ready?
It's like a Star Wars red shirt. Academy Pilot. Damn!
Stormtroopers.
Alright, so 100-point video battle report, Star Wars X-Wing, Spectre Spencer FedSen, blank, open space, nothing to run into but ourselves.
Here we go. Alright, and here are where our ships are. Obviously this is pretty easy because not regulation tournament, there are no asteroids. Because that's where Darth Vader wants to fight in open space.
Really? Blame it all on me. He agreed the last bat rep, no asteroids.
Not on film.
It wasn't.
Alright, there we go.
Alright, so movement of first turn. We basically have the Imperial ships flying in formation along the border of the patrol zone, while the Rebel ships have started to turn inward into the middle of the zone, coming in from an attack vector, hopefully picking up a flank attack on the Imperial ships. So end of movement first turn.
There we go.
Alright, so movement round 2. Of course, our first round we had nobody close enough to shoot, so we went right to movement round 2. The Imperials have kind of continued to move along the edge of the deployment zone. However, Vader and his wingman have turned in. Of course, Vader got cut off by his own guy, and Vader had to backstop against.
Little clumsiness on my part, rearranging the models because I had to move them out of the way and you know, they never go back where you want them, so he touched slightly, and in the fairness of the rules, if they touch, they hit.
Call it a graze. Or in Star Trek parlance, scraping shields, except they don't have shields. The Rebel forces continue to drive straight into the heart of the deployment zone, gaining speed on the flank of the Imperials, and hopefully next round we'll have some sort of beginning conflict.
Out of range already?
Yeah. Alright, so we're kind of moving into turn 3, which is the beginning of the conflict here. And so what I've got going on is I have the Rebel ships kind of flying in formation. We're using 2 ion cannons today to kind of limit the movement of my target so that I can set up the shots and use Arvel's touching ability to still target whatever's in his front arc, no matter if he's touching it or not. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the ion cannons to really pick a target, lock it into movement, and then the A-Wing can just follow up and blast it from behind without any issues at all. So we're going to pack hunt on single devices, single ships, and really kind of concentrate all our firepower. So, unbeknownst to Spectre FedSen, he's already lost. He just hasn't realized it yet.
All right, so getting into turn 3. As you've seen, I've already had a little of a bump, just the way the the way the models lay in movement. I already had Darth Vader run into the TIE Advance, but there was nobody in shooting range, so not a huge deal. It does shift the movement a little bit. From this point, we're getting into the thick of things. There's definitely going to be some firing in this next round. Vader and the TIE Academy pilot are going to be starting off and heading up the attack for me. The bombers will be swooping in as well, and we'll go from there. I'm not going to make any promises. It's the first time I've used the TIE bombers, so I got to get familiar with their skill sets and how they work. But I'm hoping I can just pick off one at a time, and go from there. We'll see how it works.
Yeah. All right. So movement round 3. The Imperials have started to cut into the patrol zone, heading for the rebels that they now noticed on their scanners. Vader is still having a little bit of trouble getting his Academy pilot wingman out of the area. Apparently, the training mission isn't going as well as Vader would like. They're continuing to bumper cars. The rebels have had the same issue insofar as Dutch. He has kind of cut across the formation. I was hoping to cut behind and kind of spread out the formation in a different direction, and I didn't quite pull it off. So Dutch ended up being a stopgap between Arville and Horton and caused a ram on both sides.
All right, so we're going to start with Vader shooting.
All right, Vader. Vader first is going to implement his squad leader.
Can't, it's an action.
Oh, that's an action.
Yep.
Oh, it is an action. Son of
You bumped.
And I bumped. Vader is going to run into his Academy party. Come on, go! Go! He's trying to force him into the fight. Alright, Vader's going to fire a couple shots. He has... And he's going to target the A-Wing. Should be a range 2.
Okay.
So he's got 2 shots. And pretty accurate for Vader. A-Wing's dodging 3.
And we will use my focus for the 2.
3 dodge.
No dice. No
Now
shots.
it is Horton.
Oh, Horton again. Horton's back for revenge.
Let me see. I think the ion cannon is out of range for Vader. It's close, but I think he's in 3. No? 2.
So where are we at? Zone range 2?
At range 2. 3 dice. And Horton can reroll blanks at range 2 and 3.
What range was that?
2.
2.
2. Okay.
Hitting a critical, so takes his 2 shields.
No,
Just
takes
one.
one shield,
One shield.
and he gets an ion token.
The ion token slows him down.
Yep, now you can only go one maneuver forward. And now it goes to
For how long?
right, just your movement turn.
Oh, okay.
Then it clears.
Alright, Major Reimer. Range 2 on the A-Wing. He is going to fire his proton torpedoes.
Okay.
So that gives him 4 dice.
And you spend the target lock.
Spending the target lock.
Yep, 4 dice.
Oh, Major Reimer.
Change one focus.
Does have marksman, so he will change 1 focus to a critical.
And you can do 1 from the card too.
And the card may change 1 of your focus rolls to a critical as well, so...
That's going to be 3 crits. And a hit.
And that is expended.
One dodge. So 1 dodge, then 3 crits, 2
Shields.
shields.
3 shields.
3 shields.
A-Wings only have 2 shields.
I bought the upgrade for the
Oh,
extra shield.
upgrades. Yeah. So yeah, he's clear.
Shields are down. Shields are down.
And now it goes to the
Sixes.
sixes.
A-Wing and or
So
Which?
the Dutch is going to
Dutch.
fire on Vader with the ion cannon.
is
Nothing.
Dutch. Actually, Dutch can't fire on Vader. He's out of his arc.
He gets
Iron
360.
cannon.
Oh, the iron cannon is 360.
Yeah.
Oh, well, even better bonus because I would let you reroll it.
And then I roll.
And then
Range 2.
he's 2 on Vader.
2 dice.
Nope, 2 dice.
1 hit.
Here he
Ooh.
goes.
He's nimble.
When he's dodging,
Yeah,
not
it's
when
not-
he's
not when he's flying.
not when he's flying.
And then it goes to the is that Gamma
Scimitar pilot
Scimitar pilot.
firing at range 3,
Okay.
and he
That range
will
was-
fire
yeah, it's target lock.
2 shots.
Yep. 1 hit.
1 hit.
So 4 dice.
Yep.
And
Dodges.
1 dodge. And he is dodgy, dodgy, dodgy.
And Academy pilot.
Roll that
range.
extra one just because.
Yep.
Academy pilot
Range 1.
range 1. He has
3 dice.
3 dice for range 1. And
Yep,
he
he
did not
used-
focus.
He evaded instead.
He had evade.
And
2
he'll
hits.
take. He's dead. Spectre Rebel. First ship down.
Ooh,
Boom.
nice. So the focus tactic on concentrating on one ship for me did work. Not everything I planned worked out, mainly because Vader ran into somebody. Because I was hoping that I'd be able to target lock with the Scimitar pilot as well, but didn't need to. We were able to hammer it down, so I take that as a minor victory so far.
Alright, do the maneuvers.
Alright, so movement round 4. We've kind of piled up into this crossways formation. My tactic was to move into a line and use Dutch to stopgap Horton so that Horton wouldn't run into the Vader ship and lose his shot. So Dutch basically played bumper car there to prevent Horton from moving forward. However, that does leave us sandwiched right between all the Imperial vessels, and except for the Academy pilot with the K turn from the bomber, it now puts him in a 3-way crossfire. Potentially a bad round for me, but because of the way my dice work, I'm actually going to come out of this unscathed. I won't do any damage to him, but nobody will do any damage to my ships because that is the absolute epic coolness of my dice.
He's actually not in a bad spot by stacking up, hitting the Vader with the ion, limiting him to 1 movement, and then stacking up on him. He's eliminated Vader's ability to perform 2 actions. So I could have moved Vader, target locked, and barrel rolled. I've done a couple things. I've got the squad leader ability. All that's been negated because 1, I've been running into my own guy, and now he's intentionally had me run into him. So I do have him stacked up a little bit. This will be crucial if I can land some good shots and take down his shields. I think the next round I'll have a very strong chance. If I can't take down the shield, then it keeps him in the game, and who knows where it's going to go from there. All right, starting off with Vader himself. He is going to fire 3 shots on Horton. You say 3, is that range 1?
It's range 1.
Because he's not focused, so 2. And 1.
So that's 1 shield.
1 shield.
And now Horton back. Range 1 back.
We're at the Vader.
Yep, on Vader with the target lock. So we will expend the target lock.
Ooh, good
Nice.
defender. Oh, Vader.
Dodges 2,
So
takes
takes
the
the last
shield.
shield. So,
Could have been worse.
so far, right about his dice.
All right,
Reimer.
Major Reimer.
He
And
may get Dutch.
he is
think he's got Dutch.
I think he's got the tip.
Can
Front.
he get both of them or one?
I think he's got the front portion of them, but no, Dutch.
Just Dutch.
So he'll have to go range 2 on Dutch because Horton is out of his arc.
No, I think he can get choice. If you do that, is that it? No, I think it's right.
Yeah,
so it's just Dutch.
It's too close for me to say yes.
It's Dutch.
I'll say Dutch. So Major Armor's going to fire 2 shots.
Range 2.
And he did not focus, so 1 possible.
And Dutch will lose a shield.
1 shield. Dutch himself.
Alright.
Dutch is going to
Dutch
fire.
is going to drop the ion cannon on the TIE bomber there. And he gets 4 shots. Oh no, wait, they don't. Secondary weapons don't get the
They don't
range.
get the bonus. So it was a focus, was it?
Yeah.
Just 2 hits.
On Vader?
No.
On the bomber.
On the bomber.
Scimitar.
Oh, because he's firing that way. Scimitar. So
Yeah.
he has 2 chances of dodging.
Me 2. Got 1, so you'll just take 1 damage, which is 2.
And an ion token.
Yeah, it's not a critical damage. And now it is the bomber.
Damage card. That was the Scimitar Bomber, you said?
Yep.
Alright. Scimitar Bomber is target locked. He will expend the target lock to
Cluster missile.
fire a cluster missile.
Okay.
So
4 dice.
4 dice because he's range 1.
3 dice. It's the secondary weapon.
Range 1 doesn't matter. Right?
Doesn't matter.
Secondary weapon. Two.
Gets through, so 2 through.
This is on Dutch.
Yep.
Your target lock and discard this card to perform this attack twice.
Oh, it wasn't on Dutch though, was it?
It was on
It was
Horton.
on Horton, sorry.
Oh, Horton.
Yeah, target lock on it. Then I'll get to fire
Yep,
again.
so you get to fire again.
Alright. And just target so expending target lock. Firing a second time.
And there's 1.
Dodge.
He dodged it.
Damn it. So there we go. The
And Academy can't say anything, so that's it.
Academy pilot is out.
Alright, so shooting for round 4 left us where I thought it was going to because my dice did do their job. It's making me look really good. It won't affect the outcome of the game, but it's making me look really good. My shots pulled off on Vader like I expected. I got a couple of shots there. And then I had the ion shot on the TIE bomber. So what's going to happen now is, because of my placement now, I've got a couple of K-turns coming up that's going to put the TIE bomber that's only moving 1 forward directly in the line of sight of both Y-wings. We're going to take that one out for this shooting phase, and then that's going to basically recover our ego from losing the A-wing in the round 3 shooting. But in the round 3 shooting, as I mentioned, being in a 3-ray crossfire with Vader and 2 TIE bombers, and the TIE bomber using cluster missiles, I still only lost 4 shields off of 2 ships for the entire round, with 3 ships worth of shooting fire on both. So, again, my dice are helping me there, but that's just because it's making me look good. It's not going to actually change the outcome of the game any. But we are going to see a TIE bomber disappear off the table this round, and then Vader's going to be in line next round for some dogfighting with the Y-wings chasing behind him.
Alright, so we're getting ready to go into round 5. Round 4 was some good shooting and turned out as I thought. I was able to take down, I think, 1 or 2 shields, not as many as I wanted to on Horton. I do have a TIE bomber now that's been ion. He's limited his movements that had affected some of the movement I'm going to do. Hopefully this round I can actually put enough shots onto Horton and take him out. If not, put him in a very critical spot. Big key area here is I got to move the right way to position myself for the next round after this. Hopefully I won't lose anybody. Vader's got no shields left. One of my TIE bombers does have 1 damage. Other than that, I'm holding up okay. So this is, I don't want to say, I keep saying every round's critical for me because the way I move my ships, sometimes they are, but we'll see how this one works out.
Alright, so movement turn 5 has put the Imperials and the Rebels in kind of a dogfighting position here with a little bit of chicken play going on for the next couple of rounds. The Y-Wings have both K-turned out to bring their nose back to bear on the TIE bombers. Vader did the same type of thing, clearing him out of the zone. I think that puts him out of the range of shooting this round, but it's close. We might see it on Horton. The Academy pilot's kind of jinked around to the side, done a little barrel roll to get him back into the zone, but still I think puts us out of the fire arc. So we're dealing with the one TIE bomber and potentially Vader for shooting this round from the Imperials, but both Y-Wings have nose fire arc on at least 2 ships.
Yep. Slight error on my part. Still getting used to the rules and the fact that I've used the Imperials, I think, on every match that I've played. For some reason, I was thinking the Y-Wings could not do the K-turn, and one of the reasons I chose the directions I did for some of my movements. Would have altered that slightly had I thought clearly, but it is what it is. So Vader will put some shots on Horton at range 3. Means Horton will be able to fire back. He's got 2 shots. 1 possible. A lot of stress out here too. And he does.
Horton's dodging.
Alright, Horton can fire back. Lighten up a bomber, is he?
Yep, Horton's lighting up the bomber.
Range 2.
That is range 2. And then he's the scimitar.
And he can re-roll blanks at range 2 and 3, still misses.
Good news for the bomber.
And Raymer.
Raymer will.
Raymer.
Raymer. What the hell is
Range 2.
Barely. Range 2. We'll fire a couple shots at Horton. Again, 1 might go through. 1 falls off through. And he does.
So shield on.
Takes another shield.
Horton's now shieldless.
And that will bring the next shots for Dutch.
And Dutch is going on the bomber as well.
That is range 2.
And we will use our target lock for 1.
And the bomber has 2. And he does.
So there's Spectre Wild's dice when it comes to actually affecting the outcome of the game. They kind of fall flat.
Bombers on scale.
Outstanding prediction by Spectre Weil on me losing a TIE bomber this round. Academy pilot and both the scimitar are out of firing arc for anything, so that will end that round of firing.
All right. So movement round 5, right?
Yes.
6.
Round 6. Yep. We've got everybody kind of mixing it up in the middle. I managed to play some bumper cars to limit some shooting. I think we've managed that actually pretty nicely because the close shots are not going to be there to take. That does leave Vader out in the open, kind of crossing the middle, and one of the TIE bombers has done a kick turn at the end after getting out of his ion maneuver. He decided to get out of dodge with a speedy shift out to the edge. So hopefully now we can do a little bit more dogfighting, clear out some inner range targets, and then start moving on to the outer range ones.
The movement that I wanted to do actually worked. I anticipated Vader possibly being out in the open, but it cleared his stress. Finally got to use his ability to perform 2 actions. He took an evade just in case because he is now shieldless, but he also allowed the scimitar pilot to target lock on Horton, where originally he couldn't do that because of his stress on the K-turn. So I'm hopeful this round, and we were going to start with Vader, who was going to range 2 on Dutch. Fire a couple shots. 1 possible. And he dodges. Dutch says, okay.
Now Horton.
Horton can fire either
Range 1 on Vader.
Vader or Academy pilots out of. Okay. Do you want to shoot at Vader? Or just
Yeah, we're shooting at Vader with the ion cannon.
Other guys out of his loop.
Oh yeah. And
Nothing.
missed.
Reroll.
Does he have 1 blank, right?
But he rerolls at 2. I'm thinking that's in 1.
Oh, that's in 1, yeah.
Yeah. Range one.
Definitely one.
Alright, so.
Now it goes to Reimer.
Major Reimer. He has Dutch lined up. So he can fire 2 shots. When attacking secondary weapon.
It's a range 2.
Range 2. 2 shots. Focus. I may change one of my focuses to a critical with marksmanship. Oh wait.
Yeah, the other one. All the other ones go to a regular hit.
All they're good to a regular hit. Okay. Yep. So I will not have to use my target lock on that. Marksmanship.
Not stay on the table.
He
You
has
got
one.
one.
So that takes a shield.
Also a shield.
That was Dutch.
Dutch
That was
shield.
Dutch.
And then Dutch gets to shoot.
Dutch can return fire.
And we will.
At Reimer or the
Or Vader.
Vader. Vader has the evade. Unless you're trying to pull your eye on again.
So you got
Could do the Ion.
2 on each.
We're gonna Ion Vader.
No!
Got 2 hits.
2 hits. Vader has 3 dodge. And nothing.
Focus, so he'll take another hit.
So
And
will
he
take
is
a damage.
ioned.
And he is ioned again. Nice rolling, Vader. Bum.
Now it is the Scimitar pilot, which I think is range 3 on Horton.
I believe he is range 3.
Where does that actually do? Oh, that's actually 2. He can fire his clusters.
Range 2. Cluster missiles.
Spend the target lock.
Ending the target.
Okay, dice.
3 shots. Cluster missiles out.
Oh, right. 2 dodge. That's 1 dodge. Right? So I got 1, then 2 crits go through. First one is
Thrust control. Immediately receive 1 stress token.
okay.
And then at the start of each combat phase, roll 1 attack die. On a attack result, suffer 1 damage.
Now if I expend the lock and discard this, I can use it again.
You already spent the lock. You have to roll again though. That was
I
the
get to roll
first.
again.
That was the first salvo.
And the second salvo. 1.
There's 1 hit.
Dodge.
He dodged
He
that.
dodges. So not bad, but not
But
great.
then the
And the
Academy
Academy
on
pilot
it.
has 3
Three-
shots.
3
range
dice on
1. And he will fire on Horton.
On the crit, so he's quick getting through. So takes another damage and the crit.
Immediately receive 1 stress
He's
token.
already got stress.
He's already stressed.
So he's
Ends round 6.
got 1 hull left.
All right, so moving around 7, the Imperials and the Rebels are really kind of playing bumper cars here. It almost worked out like I wanted, but I ended up kind of hitting my own guy, so I slightly took my action off that I wanted. But the fire did not affect our systems because it's a Y-wing. We've got plenty of holes for the fire to be in without any kind of damage anyway. So what we've got here is a little bit of bumper cars, which actually took Vader out of the line of fire because the 1 shot he had would have been on a ship that touched him, so we lucked out really big there. And that puts Vader in direct line of sight for some shooting from me. His other ships, they kind of went way out on the edges to do their K-turns, but we'll be back in the game next round for sure. They might have some range 3 firing in there somewhere. But definitely the action is taking place center of the board. Vader and his TIE Bomber wingman versus 2
Horton then.
Outside of
2 named Rebel heroes.
outside of Vader being without attacks because he's touching Dutch and Horton's out of his. I'm not displeased with my setup. I still have 3 ships that'll be able to bring fire, and hopefully I'll be able to take out Horton this round. But Horton gets to shoot first before we decide if that happens or not. So if you want to unload on Mr. Vader,
3 dice.
by all means, have at it.
Yep. Here comes Horton's shot.
He only needs 2 to get through.
Broadside to Vader.
1.
Yep. Not looking at that.
Oh, 1 gets through.
1 got through. So Vader's got 1 hull left.
But he lives.
So far, yeah. Now it'll go to Reimer.
Reimer is in. Is that 2?
Yep, looks like he's just touching.
2 of Dutch or.
You have the target lock on Dutch.
3 on Horton. So I'm going to go on Dutch. So he'll fire 2 shots on Dutch.
Target lock?
Yeah. Take a shot. Take a chance. Might as well. I've got it.
You have one explosion.
Oh.
I know what you're doing.
Still get 1. Target lock. No.
Still missed.
Still miss.
Dutch is dodging like a mother.
Yep. And he does.
It does.
Dutch is flying well.
And then
And he gets to shoot now the. Oh, Academy Pirate.
3 dice at the scimitar.
Or Scimitar. I'm sorry. Scimitar only has 2 dodges.
Is the scimitar taking any damage yet?
Negative.
Yeah, we'll just go
Yes, he
straight
does.
cannon.
He's got 1.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. He has 1. But you can't shoot Vader because you're touching him. So, yeah.
Right, but I do have the
Oh, the
ion
ion.
cannon if I want to do something different.
Yeah, gotcha.
But we are going straight up.
You don't want him to ion and keep him clustered even more?
So he's got 6 holes.
So we will
Like that.
use our focus to 2.
2.
Dodges them both.
Wow.
I don't think so, Mr. Dutch.
And then his turn back. So he can either go Dutch or he can go Horton. He only needs 1 on Horton.
He's going to go Dutch.
He'll go Horton. And he will fire, is that range 1?
3, yeah. 3 dice.
Oh, yeah. You're good at the range better than I am. So 3. Horton.
He's got a focus.
Focus, so.
There's only make 1. This could be it. Nope. You saved it. And then the Academy Pilot at range probably
Academy
2.
Pilot. Range 2.
So he's got 2 dice. He hits both. He kills him. No, too bad he didn't have focus.
Possible 1.
So
Oh,
1
he's
die
fast.
again.
Oh!
Gets odds, he's dead.
Oh, the Academy Pilot's gonna be bragging about that for years to come. I took out Horton!
And that's it. Wow. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, so movement of 7. We're now down to 1 Rebel Y-Wing. However, the Y-Wing has proven itself over the years as a tough warhorse of the Rebel forces and has maintained its superiority in the forces, even though the X-Wings and the Y-Wings have come along.
Dutch has been performing well.
So we still have a good chance to win this event. However, we've kind of slid out to kind of start to maneuver into range on Vader. Hopefully, I was hoping he was going to shoot past me a little bit. But that has allowed the other ties to kind of pick up some ground, and now everybody's in range of Dutch. But Dutch has
Bring in the firepower and hopefully we can take him down.
Dutch has his sturdy, reliable Y-Wing that he's been piloting for years, and he's been keeping in the fight. So,
And Vader is again out of firing arc, so he forfeits his firing abilities where he's at.
But Major Reimer will get to fire before Dutch does. Yeah. So, Major Reimer,
At 2.
range 2, firing 2 shots.
Target lock.
Expend the target lock.
2 crits.
1 crit.
So 1 shield down.
Drops another shield.
Now it's Horton's. I mean, Dutch.
And his only ability is the ion cannon. But
Which-
that has been very successful for him this match.
Vader?
Yep, we're gonna drop that right on Vader,
Target lock.
and we are target locked. So.
And 2.
Vader.
And he'll get it with the other evade.
He dodges
And evade token.
and evade. So Vader.
So scimitar maybe at 3.
That's looking like 2 to me. Oh, far 1.
We had the
And Academy's probably 2. 3.
3.
2 dice.
2 dice. Firing shots.
It's got 2 dice dodge. Both hits.
Both hits.
Shields.
1 shield goes through, the other one's a crit going through.
Ooh. Long damage.
So treat all turn maneuvers, sharp left or right, as red maneuvers.
That's gonna hurt. And range 2. So 2 dice.
2 dice for the Academy Pilot.
And
He's
has
been
2 dice.
successful.
So that's gonna get 1 more through. Gonna get 2 more through.
2 more hits.
He's only got 2 left.
So pounding down on Dutch.
All right. So moving round 8, Dutch is really kind of trying to fly like a madman, trying to get out of as many guns as possible. Of course,
Once again, Vader for the 3rd straight round has no shots on anybody, so he did succeed in that aspect.
Yeah, but he did line up shots for all the other 3 ships. So
He did.
because TIE fighters are so fast, there was just no way to really dodge out of that entire zone completely. But we did dodge out of the way of Vader, so that cuts down 1 of the 3 shot ships. So that's a pretty good deal for me.
And with the ion cannon, you could possibly take Vader out.
Yeah, that's kind of my hope. I'll at least have the Pyrrhic victory of knocking Vader out of the sky like a Han Solo special shot before.
Unfortunately, Major Reimer has first shots.
Yeah, but he's way far away. He'll miss.
Range 3.
He's a range 3 with 2 shots. Nothing.
So now you will get your shot. Ion.
Drop our ion shot on Vader. All we need is 1.
2. 2 and the token. Then go to the scimitar.
And then I think here's where the game probably ends for the Imperials
Range 2.
today.
Scimitars at range 2, firing 2 shots. He does have the focus.
No, he doesn't.
Oh no, that was the Academy
Yeah.
pilot.
Debunked.
I won't
Nope.
spend the target lock.
And that does it.
So he's dead.
Good.
Game over.
Takes him out. Success for the Imperials. Revenge. And amazingly enough, I did not lose any ships. Vader lost both of his shields, took 2 damage, so he ended up taking 4 hits. Scimitar ended up taking 1 hull, but other than that, we managed to fly around, little bumper cars. I survived, and the focusing and concentrating on all my firepower on 1 ship paid off. Yay! All right, that wraps up another one. That was the 4th one, 3rd one between us,
Yep.
the rubber match. Obviously, that's not the last one that we'll have against each
Not
other.
at all.
But once again, I had the successful end of this deal. Strategy-wise, how did things work out for you?
Well, it was going pretty good for me in the beginning of the game, where I was thinking I was going to pack hunt as well and concentrate fire. But losing the A-wing on the first real round of conflict, and
Yeah.
you getting the 2-to-1 odds on me, really kind of started to hurt me, especially with the lack of agility.
What was one of the A-wing? Did you have any special abilities that you were hoping to pull out of it, or was it just to try to get behind and?
Well, he was the one that he could fire on a vehicle he was touching.
Oh yes, okay.
So my idea was to really use my bumper cars,
Not allow
the
me
way
to
I
fire
did,
at him,
but pile up on him,
Okay.
ion cannon the target so that it had to move in a predictable pattern,
Yeah.
and then just be able to stay on it until I got rid of it, and then move on to the next one.
Strategy-wise for me, obviously not perfect. As first couple of turns, I started bumping in just the way, clumsiness and handling the models. I wasn't lining up right, and Vader ended up losing some extra actions several times in the beginning of the match. But I was hoping that you would concentrate a little bit on him, and with his 3 hull and 2 shields, I figured he'd be able to take a couple of shots. I did roll really well the last couple of rounds on dodging. That helped out as well.
Your evades were showing up all over the place.
And then
even with the TIE bombers, they were evading really well.
Yeah, and the TIE bombers did what they were supposed to do. I wanted them to kind of stay on the outskirts and just pluck away. And the cluster missiles really worked out for me. I mean, they dropped shields on Horton really quickly. I think it was a 1 round. We eliminated all of his shields. And then the Academy pilot was just, hey, I got some extra points to get to 100. Let me throw them in there, because who shoots at an Academy pilot when you have 3 other higher class ships?
Yeah.
And it worked out. He ended up taking out, being the guy that took out Horton.
Well, and it also kind of worked into the TIE spam. I mean, you're
Yes.
4 to my 3. Again, Rebels are so expensive that it's really hard to get the numbers down on the table if you're trying to get the quality ships.
Right, and it's a hard strategy. I've yet to really play the Rebels and experience that. I've been on the other end. The one difference, if you've watched our previous Bat Reps, I didn't take any large ships. I didn't take a slave ship. I didn't take the Lambda class shuttle. And I think that actually helped me because, again, maneuverability is not my strongest suit. And those big based models,
Excuse me.
yeah, those big based models end up blocking my movement a lot. And I did
have a little bumping of my own ships, but nowhere as near as significant as I have in previous matches. So
Yeah. I got the bumping I pretty much wanted, but the Y-Wings won agility. Once they lost that A-Wing target drawer, jeez, excuse me, the Y-Wings just kind of picked up shots. I mean, I was actually thinking I was dodging pretty well with the defense dice, but
I tell you that the ion cannon definitely makes a difference. I mean, you hit me 3 times with it, twice on Vader, once on one of the bombers, and only being able to go one straight really changes, especially if you're trying to fly a formation. Spectre FedSen and I were talking a little earlier on, what's a really solid strategy for beating the TIE swarm, and especially someone that's really good at formations, not me. And the ion cannon could be that one of those factors. If you pull a ship out of being able to do the movements everybody else is, you can kind of break them up.
yeah.
So I can see your strategy. Pull one out, slow it down, pick them off. But,
Know where it's going to go and then pile up on it with a...
fortunately, the dice gods sided with me. I rolled a lot of hits. The shields went down quickly, and just the focus power, hammering on trying to just pick and choose one at a time, definitely worked. I think if I spread out a little bit more, I had to spread out my shots a little bit more, we at least would have won several more rounds. So
Yeah.
Thank you, dice gods, for the rolls.
So, strategy for just about any game that you can think of, especially where dice are the major aspect of it, concentrated fire. It's
Yes.
been a strategy that works just about every game, every place you can play on the board.
Absolutely. So we hope you enjoyed this latest episode. If you haven't checked out the previous ones, please do. As always, subscribe, and of course, once we're still looking to get to that 100th subscriber to give away a starter set, X-Wing starter set. So,
And if you're not a fan of the movies, go ahead and watch the movies, because you'll see that no matter how many times he rolls, the Rebels are going to win.
you lost today.
Today.
Until next time.